Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Mahabharata character series. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing about the life of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and so far we have seen how Yudhishthira Maharaj, because he had to gamble, because he was uh, given instructions by superiors. Dhritarashtra told him, he sent a messenger. And because he had taken a vow to follow the orders of the elders to avoid any conflict, he had to gamble. But that vow ultimately became the cause of the dispute in the future, because he was told to gamble by Dhritarashtra himself. And ultimately, the whole gambling match happened, and twice it happened. And then ultimately Pandavas were stripped of all the wealth, and then they had to go to the forest. So now when the Pandavas had to go to forest, all the citizens led by Brahmanas, they came, and they were requesting Yudhishthir and the Pandavas. They were saying, "O king, O Yudhishthir, this Dhritarashtra, this king is so vicious. We cannot stay in his association. He has sent you such virtuous Pandavas to forest. If we stay in association of such a king, we will also become contaminated. We will also lose all our virtuous qualities. Instead, if we associate with you, then we will become virtuous. We don't mind staying in forest. We will come with you to the forest." In this way, they were pleading with Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj, such a wonderful personality. When he heard such wonderful request, he folded his hands and he told that, "O citizens, O Brahmanas, it is very nice of you. It is our fortune that you are ascribing to us the qualities which we don't have." Such a humble state of mind he was in. He was not even blaming Kauravas. He was not blaming anyone. Instead, he was telling that we don't have any qualities, but still, you all Brahmanas and the citizens, you are just telling us what qualities we should have. He said, the great elders are still there in Hastinapur. Bhishma is there, the Kripacharya is there, Dronacharya is there. Please go and be under their protection. Serve them, and the prosperity will come upon all of you. They are the object of service. Please go back. So we can understand, we can see by this behavior that Yudhishthir Maharaj is such a humble personality, never blaming anyone. In this world, it is very easy to blame somebody. People are ready to blame others for the wrong things which they have done, and they are ready to take credits for whatever right things somebody else has done. Yudhishthir, by his wonderful example, is showing that even though somebody has done something wrong, of course we have to do the needful, but there is nothing good which is going to happen by blaming somebody. On the contrary, we become contaminated, and we can see in this case Yudhishthir Maharaj is showing such a wonderful humility. This virtue of humility is ingrained in our devotee. A person who is on the path of spiritual life, for him, virtue is the foundational quality which he should have. He should cultivate, he should try to develop in his character. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he said, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. A person, he should be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, eager to give all the respect to others and not expecting anything in return. If we are in such state of mind, then we can chant the holy names constantly. So therefore, a spiritualist, he should be very, very attentive not to become proud of whatever he has. This humility is a very, very foundational, it is a crux of spiritual life. You know, Krishna himself, Supreme Lord himself, is so very humble. We can see in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam how Krishna makes his entry. You know, generally in a movie, you know, when a hero is about to enter, he enters with a bang. You know, we see, you know, we must have seen in some of the movies that when a, you know, heroine is captured by a villain and then hero comes in a car and then with a screeching halt the car stops and then the door opens and the first leg comes out, the camera is focusing on the shoe and then slowly, you know, moves up. A graphic, a dramatic entry. But we can see in Mahabharata, in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is entering as such a humble personality. The hero of Bhagavad Gita, the hero of Bhagavatam enters as a chariot driver. Such a humble entry. So therefore, if Krishna is so very humble, Supreme Lord is so very humble, he expects that his devotee should also become humble. He does not like his devotees to become proud. So therefore, you know, Yudhishthira by his example is telling how one can practice humility. Anyone, you know, can be humble and imitate to be humble in ordinary situations. But our intentions, our sincerity is tested in difficult times when we are provoked. As it is said, the greatness of a personality is tested in difficult times. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj he told all the citizens, they were lamenting, crying, wailing, and ultimately they could not do anything in front of Yudhishthira. Just like the citizens, all the Ayodhya Vasis, they came to beg with Lord Ram that please come back to Ayodhya, headed by Bharat Maharaj. They all came, presented such wonderful arguments, but still they could not convince Lord Ram to give up his vow, to follow the path of virtue. For Lord Ram, the virtue was to follow the instructions of his father. Similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj was following the virtue of following the words of elders. So ultimately, the citizens they could not do anything. They came back, and as they were returning, you know, Dhritarashtra was in anxiety. He asked the messenger who was there with the Pandavas. He asked, O messenger, please tell me how the Pandavas were departing from Hastinapur, how they were going. So the messenger he told very graphically what was going on. He said, Yudhishthir, he had almost covered his eyes completely with a cloth. Bhima, he was slapping his arms. And Arjuna, he was with his foot, he was scattering the grass which was there on the ground. Sahadev, he completely covered himself with one cloth. And Nakul, he covered his whole body with ashes. So intrigued with this explanation, this description, Dhritarashtra asked, what was the reason for all these things? Why Pandavas, they departed like that. And then he told something else also. He said, Draupadi, she was crying tears. As he was walking on the road to the forest, she was crying. Dhaumya, the teacher, the spiritual teacher of the Pandavas, he was chanting fearful mantras of Yamraj. And those mantras were from Samaved. So Dhritarashtra, he was intrigued and he asked, May I know the reason? Do you know the reason why they were behaving like that? Messenger, he could understand by looking at the Pandavas. He said, Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he was so very insulted, cheated, stripped of all the wealth. Although in the assembly he could not do anything, he was burning with anger, fuming with anger. But somehow he controlled himself. And he was thinking that if I see any of the citizens, I may burn them down by my anger. So better cover my eyes. Bhima, he was, thinking the circumstances have not allowed me to use the power of my arms. In future, I will smash and kill all the 100 sons. He was longing for the time when he could show the prowess. Arjuna was thinking that in the war after 13 years, if these Kauravas they don't give us kingdom back, then I will scatter my arrows in all directions and I'll kill all the Kauravas and their armies just like these grasses. Nakula, Sahadeva, he was thinking, I am so very disturbed. Nobody should see me in this moment of mortification. Nakula was extremely beautiful, and because in the assembly, Kauravas, they told that all of you should remove your upper cloths, remove your royal garments. So he was not wearing any upper cloth. So he was thinking, I should cover myself with the ashes so that the women don't, they don't get attracted to me. Draupadi, she was thinking that just like I am walking on this path, crying tears after 13 years, the wives of the Kauravas, they will also walk on this road. When they'll go to meet their dead husbands, they would be crying. And Dhaumya, he was chanting mantra because he was telling that, these mantras, all the Brahmanas will chant these mantras for the dead Kauravas. So very interesting, Mahabharata and all the scriptures, many times they give the inner thoughts of a person in every situation. Why they give all this inner thoughts? So that we can understand and learn by their examples. You know, actually, you know, this just one instance where we can see the thoughts. When we read any scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, we have to understand the thoughts and the feelings of a person. Then we can be absorbed. Then we can be there. We can be there in that pastime. Then we will actually understand the real import of a certain pastime of scriptures. Scriptures, they are not just for reading, they are for absorbing ourselves. These scriptures, they are for contemplation and application. There are three things when we read scriptures. There are three things which we have to do: Shravanam, Mananam, and Nidhi Dhyasanam. Shravanam means reading or hearing. Mananam means we have to contemplate how these things are applicable for me. And Nididhyasana means actually apply the principles of the scriptures in our lives. If we are just reading scripture for the sake of reading, that is good. That will give some uh, enlightenment, some knowledge, but it will not give realizations. It will not transform our life. We should read scriptures not for information but for transformation of our heart. Otherwise, there is no dearth of information in this world. In this world of internet and social media and smartphones, there is overload of information. Information is abundantly available. Scriptures, they are for transformation of heart. That will happen when we apply these principles in our lives. So therefore, we have to understand, we whatever we read in the scriptures, they are teaching us something to be followed in our lives. There are three things which we hear in the scriptures: pratyaksha, shabda, and anuman. Pratyaksha means what we see in the world. Shabda means the words of the scriptures. And anuman means our intelligence or thought process. What is realization? We hear this word very often in the spiritual circles. Realization. What is realization actually? Realization means when you harmonize pratyaksha with shabda using your anuman. This is a very interesting definition. That means when we use our intelligence to connect whatever we are seeing in the world with scriptures. Basically, we have to learn to see this world with the eyes of scriptures. That is called realization. And therefore, all these wonderful details are given in the scriptures. When Dhritarashtra heard this, he was panic struck. He became very, very fearful. That time Narad Muni appeared. Narad Muni said, O king, after 13 years, there will be a battle, there will be a war, and all the Kauravas will be killed in that. When Dhritarashtra heard this, he became really shocked. He knew the words of Narad Muni will come true. He started thinking what to do. He felt regret for what all had happened. But interestingly, he did not feel any remorse for the Pandavas. He was concerned about his own son's welfare. He was thinking about himself, how I will, live without my sons. A person whose heart is full of selfish desires cannot think of the welfare of other personalities. Others, they may be undergoing all the pain, but a person who is selfish, he cannot even see that or recognize that. Real spirituality is a journey from being selfish to selfless. That is the journey of a Krishna conscious person. Currently, we are so very concerned about our desires, our joys, our happiness, our expectations. From this level, we have to go to becoming selfless. That's what Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita always tells. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, the devotees are Sarva Bhuta Hite Ratah. Sarva Bhuta Hite Ratah means they are well-wishers of everyone. They are supreme welfare workers. Bhagavatam says, Titikshava Karunika Suridas Sarva Dehinam Ajat Shatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhbhushanam Titikshavaha Karunikaha Surida Sarva Dehinam. Devotees, they are very compassionate, they are tolerant. Surida Sarva Dehinam, they are supreme well wishers of everyone. That is a spiritualist. A real welfare worker is one who takes care of the body and takes care of the soul also. But Dhritarashtra, because he was so very selfish in his motives, he could not see the pain of the Pandavas. So Pandavas, after they were banished to the forest, they went to Kamyavan. In the Kamyavan, as they were staying, Krishna and Balram came there. And when Krishna and Balram, they saw such condition of Pandavas, they were in garbs of ascetics. Draupadi having all disheveled hair. Balram and Krishna became so very angry. Balram said, you know, I will burn the entire Kaurava family. Whatever way they have dealt with Draupadi, they deserve death. Krishna said, the world cannot stand my anger. I was not aware of the gambling match. I will destroy the Kauravas for what they have done with all of you Pandavas. He was so very angry. It is very, very hope giving when we see and read these words. How Krishna is so very uh, eager to help his devotees. Now, generally, in the other religions, God is a person who is only there for punishing the wrongdoers. But Vedic scriptures, they describe how God is a very loving personality having such wonderful sentiments for his devotees. He is a very loving and a caring person. He also feels for the pain of a devotee, of his devotees. In fact, he suffers more when his devotees suffer. And just like a parent, just like father or mother, when they see their children in pain, children may be suffering, but parents, they suffer more than the children because of the distress they are going, because their son or daughter, they are going to such distress. They are also suffering a lot. Lord also feels for the suffering of his devotees. He wants to help them. He wants to uh, make the situation right. And that's how Lord keeps sending right people. He keeps sending instructions. He keeps coming himself to show us the right way to do things, so that we may not suffer and ultimately we may go back to the place where he is living, to live with him eternally without having to suffer in this world. Arjuna, when he saw Krishna being so angry, he pacified. He said, O Lord, O Supreme Lord, you are Narayan. I have heard from the sages that you are the Supreme Lord who incarnate in this world to reestablish Dharma. O Lord, nothing is impossible for you. Your anger can destroy the entire world, but please control your anger. This is not the time for destruction. Your anger should not become the cause of destruction of the world. He somehow pacified. Actually, Arjuna is is in a mood of a friend, but sometimes he takes the role of a devotee. There are various rasas, various relationships a devotee can have with Krishna, with God. So Arjuna was having a relationship of friend of God, of Krishna. Although he was aware that Krishna is God, Krishna is Supreme Lord, but that understanding is very much covered by the feelings of friendship. And therefore, few times this awe and reverence and understanding of Krishna as God comes out, just like in this case. So devotees, they have the knowledge of Lord's divinity, but that knowledge of divinity is covered by their love for Krishna. And that's what is happening here. Arjuna could understand, oh, Krishna is Supreme Lord. I should pray to him. Otherwise, because of the love for us, he may destroy the entire world. Krishna said, Oh Pandavas, I was not aware of this gambling match. That's why I could not come and protect you at the right time. And he said, if I would have been here, I would not have allowed this gambling match to happen. Yudhishthira Maharaj asked, Oh Krishna, where were you? Why you could not come? You know, oh, please tell us. We were just waiting for your darshan. Krishna said, when I was in Rajasuya Yagya, in the middle of after this, Rajasuya was over, in the middle of other arrangements which were going on, a messenger came from Dwarka telling that a demon called Shalva had attacked, and this demon was creating havoc in Dwarka. So Krishna had to run, leave everything, run to Dwarka, and then he killed that demon there. He restored his kingdom. As he was restoring, he received this news that Pandavas lost everything in gambling and they were sent to forest. So Krishna said, as soon as I received that message, I came running to meet all of you. So this is very interesting. Somebody may understand, somebody may say, oh, but Krishna is Supreme Lord. He knew everything. He's omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. He could have expanded himself. He could have known by his potencies what was happening with Pandavas. But we have to understand that when Krishna enacts a pastime, he does it very well. He actually performs these pastimes in such a wonderful way that nobody doubts. Just like there is a story. One time there was a person, real story. There was a person who would do the drama of, he would enact the roles, various roles of characters of Ramayana. And he would just get into that role. One time he was performing the role of Dashrath Maharaj. And when this Ram was banished to the forest, and Dashrath was crying, as Ram was leaving, Dashrath was crying. And after Ram left, in separation, actually in Ramayana, Dashrath Maharaj died. So this person, as he was enacting this role, he felt such separation. He was into that role. Actually, he also died. So if a person of this world can get into a role so nicely that he is affected by the sentiments, whenever Krishna comes in this world and performs a particular role, he also gets affected by the sentiments. And especially for his devotees, Krishna really gets so much concerned. When Krishna performs his Leela, he covers his divinity so that the pastime can be performed very nicely. Sometimes he manifests his divinity, sometimes he conceals that divinity. So somebody asked, but why Lord performs all these pastimes? To attract the minds of all the conditioned souls, all of us. Because Krishna ultimately wants every one of us to go back to him. So we can see here that Yudhishthira has committed a very terrible mistake of gambling everything. He was not supposed to do that. But we have to understand there was a reason for it. There is a compulsion and there is a motivation. Motivation means you have the desire to do something and that's why you are doing. Compulsion means when you don't have the desire to do something but still you are forced to do something. Yudhishthir, he had no motivation for gambling. He had the compulsion of the words of the superiors. That's why he gambled. So Krishna, although we have heard in the Draupadi's life, that how Krishna himself appeared in the form of the sari and protected the chastity of Draupadi. Krishna came and protected Draupadi, but he didn't tell that Draupadi, I only helped you. Oh Pandavas, whatever is happening in your life, I am always there protecting all of you. You don't worry. That is how we have to understand. Krishna is doing such a wonderful thing, but he's not claiming to the whole world that I am establishing the principles of dharma. In fact, the story comes after the whole battle of Kurukshetra was over. There was a person called Barbarik. He was, you know, his head was cut and his head was there put on the tree outside Kurukshetra, but still he was alive and he was able to see all the war. After the war was over, he was asked, please tell us your perspective about this war. Who is the hero of this war? So Barbarik, he said, what I saw every day in the war, Chakra of Krishna was going around chopping the heads of all the warriors. That's all I could see. So basically, it is Krishna who is doing everything. We are just the instruments. But Krishna never tells, I am the doer. That's how humble he is. It is said that when we do something good and we tell the whole world about it, we boast about it, we actually lose the credit for doing it. So, therefore, better not to tell the world what good things we are doing. Krishna does not like a person who is proud. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter, Krishna describes the demoniac qualities. In that he says Dambha, Darpa, and Abhiman. What is Dambha? Dambha means when you don't have good qualities and you boast about them. That is Dambha. Darpa means when you have good qualities and you boast about them. So both these two things are demoniac. Either you are doing something good or not. There are some people who want to take the credit of things which they have not done also. That is still worse. Because people, when they do something good, when they do some great religious activity, some charity, help people, they want many times. The intention behind all these good things is they want name, fame, prestige, adoration, distinction. Why? Because ultimately they want to be loved. People think that if I tell others about what good things I am doing, people will love me. If I tell people what all things I have, people may get attracted to me. But actually, exactly contrary, the opposite thing happens many times. People, you know, they become envious. Why is this person doing all this? I should have done this. They want to get satisfaction and love, but what they get is envy. So, Krishna, he is not telling, oh, I saved you, oh Draupadi. Draupadi asked Krishna, oh Krishna, why I had to go through all those insults and sufferings, although I had 5 powerful husbands? Why this happened to me? Krishna said, oh Draupadi, please don't worry. Ultimately, your husbands will become victorious. You will become the queen. Pandavas will become the kings. Draupadi said, oh Krishna, I deserve your protection because of 4 things. Because of our relationship, Draupadi was related to Krishna, family relation was there. Because of our relationship, you should protect me. Because of our friendship, you should protect me. And because you are my Lord, that's why you should protect me. And lastly, she said, because I'm your devotee, please, therefore, you should protect me. Krishna said, oh Draupadi, surely you will be protected. Many times, when people they share their sorrows and distresses and pains, they when they come and they pour out their heart, they just expect us to hear them. They just expect us to empathize with them. Because many times people they need just somebody who can empathize and hear the problems which they are going through. They don't need solution also many times. Just if people understand, oh, there is somebody who understands me, who listens what I'm going through, that is itself a great relief. you know so therefore, when we are dealing with some people who are distressed, who are in pain, we should just be a empathic listener you know and of course, if possible, we should do some practical things also for them to help them. But just this empathic listening is very, very important. So Balram also said, he said, after 13 years, if these Kauravas they don't give you back your kingdom, the war will result. And they told, Krishna and Balram both told Pandavas that, oh Pandavas, you don't regret about your position. Now you are put in this situation, please increase your virtue. Be with the sages, associate with them, increase your virtue, increase your philosophical understanding, increase your knowledge of dharma. And then Yudhishthir, he accepting the instructions of Krishna and Balram, they entered deep in the forest. And as they were entering into the forest, Shaunaka Rishi, other sages, they came and they met Yudhishthir. Shaunak said, O king, please don't lament for your wealth. Whatever has come by the providence, just accept it and take it in a right attitude. Wealth causes lamentation and distress many times. In fact, Bhagavatam describes anything you do with wealth, it creates four things. It creates great labor, uh, ayashas, tras, chinta, and bhram. अर्थस्य साधने सिद्धे उत्कर्षे रक्षणे व्यये नाशोपभोग आयासस्त्रासश्चिंता भ्रमो नृणाम्. It is described when you are dealing with money, either you acquire wealth or you spend wealth, you increase the wealth, protect the wealth, whatever you do with wealth, four things come: great labor, distress, trouble, anxiety, and illusion. So Shaunakrish told Yudhishthir, O king, please don't lament about the loss of your wealth. You know, people, when they are attached to the things and people of the world, they destroy themselves. They destroy their spiritual understanding. So you should understand that the causes of fear and greed in this world, many times they overwhelm a person. So don't get disturbed. Just study the Vedas, remember the Vedas, and stay calm, stay peaceful. Yudhishthir said, but oh sage, I don't need wealth for my personal sense gratification. I need wealth for serving Brahmanas. I need wealth for uh, taking care of the citizens. Shaunak Rishi said, that may be the case, O Yudhishthir Maharaj, but you should understand that now because you are circumstantially put in this situation, you should practice renunciation. Earlier, you were a great king having lots of wealth because, Rajasuya Yagya, when it was performed, Yudhishthir, he was the richest personality. And now he had nothing. He was a pauper. He was a just a ordinary mendicant. Shaunak Rishi said, "You are the king, and as a king, you perfected your duty as a householder. You served the Brahmanas, you took care of your citizens, but now you are put in this situation. Please practice renunciation." So basically, what they were telling is when things go wrong in life, please don't ask why. Rather than asking why, you should ask how now. Many times people ask this question, why this is happening to me? Why this wrong has happened? Rather, you should ask, how should I continue now? How should I situate myself in a proper circumstance which increases my faith towards God? So therefore, this is what these sages were telling. We should always think what Lord wants me to teach from this situation. They continued, O king, there are three things in the world: dharma, artha, and kama. Dharma means religious development, artha means economic development, and kama means sense gratification. They said these three things should be balanced. One should not neglect other two to practice one. So we should be balanced in these three things in our life. People many times they become so very addicted to enjoyment. They spend all their wealth. They don't consider about artha. They are just concerned about kama. They want to enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. There are people who are called shopaholics. They will spend all the money shopping, just enjoying. They don't consider I have to save something also. Some people they are just concerned about artha. They are called workaholics. They work so much that they even forget to enjoy. In Japan there was a phenomena where people would even die working. They would be so much addicted to working that they would die sitting on their chair. And therefore Japanese companies they would try so many things. They would switch off all the electricity in the company so that the people can get up and go. Still they would keep working. So people, there are some people who are addicted to sense gratification, kama. There are some people who are addicted to artha, just acquiring more and more wealth. And there are people who just give up this artha also and kama also, and they are just focused on dharma. But those who are in family life, having children, having other responsibilities, if they only do their religious responsibility and neglect their family responsibility, that is not the right thing. Many times people do that. They just give up, neglect their family responsibility in the name of religious responsibility. We have to be balanced. If a person has such inclinations, he is not the right person to stay in a household life. And you are already married. If you are already married, you have children, you have family, then you don't have any option. You have to take care of them. So therefore, balance of all these three things are required in a family householder life. How much one should focus on what? That depends on different people. Brahmana, for a Brahman, dharma is in focus. For a Kshatriya, artha and kam is in focus. So it depends on a particular personality. So, as Shaunak Rishi gave his instructions, Yudhishthira agreed, he offered his respects, and then they entered in the forest along with Dhaumya. Dhaumya was a very interesting personality. He never left Pandavas. We remember we had discussed that when Pandavas went in Vanvas for the first time, when they were about to be burnt, that time they met with Dhaumya. And since then on, Dhaumya was there with them. Generally people they know Dronacharya as the guru of the Pandavas, but he was just a martial guru, military teacher. But Dhaumya was a spiritual master, was the actual spiritual teacher of the Pandavas, who never left them, was there with them in all circumstances. Even in the forest, he went with them. And Dhaumya and Yudhishthira, he turned to Dhaumya and said, "Oh, teacher, these Brahmanas, they are following me. They are following." Because many Brahmanas, they were there. They could not give up Pandavas. Because they were such righteous people, and Yudhishthira was such a virtuous king, such a devoted king. They could not give up the association of Pandavas. They were following wherever they were going. Wherever Pandavas were going, Brahmanas were following them. So Yudhishthira he asked Dhaumya that, "O king, O sage, these Brahmanas they are following me, and as a king, it is my duty to maintain them because I am a Kshatriya. It is duty of a Kshatriya to maintain the Brahmanas. But because of the situation, I have nothing. Please tell me, help me. How can I serve them?" This is very interesting. Yudhishthira has had nothing for himself, but is not thinking how I will take care of myself. He is thinking how I will take care of these Brahmanas. So often, many times it happens, when we want to do something, we expect the facilities first. We demand facilities before our responsibilities. But Yudhishthira Maharaj is such a wonderful king. He knows his responsibilities. He knows that as a king, I have to take care of the Brahmanas. And he is eager, he is ready to serve them. And therefore, he is thinking, how can I serve? Spiritual life is a life of responsibilities. And if we stick to our responsibilities in our spiritual life, our spiritual practices, our duty towards the family, if we stick to them, then the facilities will be given by Krishna. How can we serve better? For Yudhishthir, he was thinking about the Brahmanas. He was not thinking about himself. And therefore, when he was thinking in this way, he turned to Dhaumya. And Dhaumya said, "O king, Surya, sun god, he is the source of food. He brings rains along with Indra. If you worship Surya, then your uh, desire will be fulfilled." So this is a universal principle. When we think about serving others, Krishna, he thinks about us. Because everybody is the servant, everybody is the children of Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the father and mother. Aham bij pradah pita, pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. So if we help other children, other brothers and sisters, then Father becomes very pleased. So Krishna becomes pleased when we help and serve others. The more we give, the more we receive by the mercy of Krishna. We receive the attention of Krishna. Therefore, when we are praying to Krishna, first we should pray for others, especially in this COVID times. We should pray for the welfare of all the Vaishnavas. In fact, for entire humanity, entire, all the living entities. And when Krishna sees that this person is such selfless, he is praying for others, then Krishna listens our prayers also. It is natural. When a child takes the responsibility of helping other brothers and sisters, Krishna, the father, he gives more facilities to that child so that he can do better. So Krishna is that father. If we help others, if we serve others, Krishna will give more facilities. So on the instructions of Dhaumya, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he started performing intense tapasya, entering the river. He was standing there with his arms raised, praying to Surya Dev. Dhaumya, he gave various mantras for the worship of Surya, and he gave 100 names of Surya. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was praying intensely to sun god Surya Dev to please show mercy. In this way, he was standing in water for many days without food and water. And Surya Dev, when he saw such wonderful determination of Yudhishthira Maharaj to help others, serve the Brahmanas, he became very pleased. He appeared in front and he said, "O king, I am very pleased with your endeavor and determination to serve the Brahmanas. Please ask for benediction." And Yudhishthir, he asked, "Please, I want to serve them. You know, please give me a particular thing by which I can serve them properly." Suryadev, he gave a very shining vessel to Yudhishthir. He said, "O king, this vessel is Akshaya Patra. It will keep producing food whole day. Till the time Draupadi does not eat, this vessel will keep producing food for everyone. In this way, every day you can feed unlimited Brahmanas." So Yudhishthir, he became very pleased and then he continued serving the Brahmanas. Then, they went deep into the forest. They were traveling. Many sages they came. Markandeya Muni came, other sages came. They met. All the sages, when they met Pandavas, they were really sad seeing the situation of Pandavas. Markandeya was smiling. Markandeya Rishi was smiling. Yudhishthira, he was intrigued and he asked, "Oh, great sage, may I know the reason why are you smiling?" So, Markandeya said, "O king, when I see your situation, I remember Lord Ram. Just like you are banished by unfair means, Lord Ram was also banished to the forest. But ultimately he emerged victorious. You also will become victorious, O Yudhishthir, don't worry." This is very interesting. We don't have to judge people based on their external actions. Yudhishthir could have judged, "Oh, this sage, I think he is not such favorable." But he very frankly asked. So therefore, better to clarify than to judge. Many times we are so very quick in judging people, judging their actions, tagging them, "Oh, this person is like that only." But we can see how Yudhishthir, he just asked, clarified. So we don't have to judge people, just clarify things. This is how we can save our relationships many times. So all these situations which are happening with Pandavas, they are showing by their personal example how a person who is absorbed in spiritual consciousness, he can stay calm, he can stay peaceful in midst of all the odds. Although, you know, Yudhishthir was very calm, but Draupadi, she was not able to still forget her insult. She was very angry and she went to Yudhishthir and she started telling what she was experiencing. You know, so we have to understand when the problem comes in the life of a devotee, how to become calm, how to stay, relaxed. That is an art which we have to learn. Ordinary self-help books to stay calm in midst of all these things, all the problems, they may help for some time, but they are like the superficial treatment we are taking. Ultimately, if we want to stay peaceful and calm in all the situations, spiritual life and Krishna consciousness is the root cause treatment. Because a devotee understands whatever is happening in my life, Krishna is personally taking care of that. Especially when somebody comes to a spiritual life, starts practicing Krishna consciousness, Krishna personally takes care of that devotee. We come under the jurisdiction of Krishna. And Krishna, as we have heard, that he is always eager to help his devotees. So then, whatever happens in the life of a devotee, it is by the will of Krishna. And that is the secret of having a calm disposition. That is how Yudhishthira could stay such calm. But Draupadi, she was not able to stay, such peacefully. She was very disturbed as she was insulted. She was the one who suffered the most. She was tried to be disrobed. So therefore, she went to Yudhishthir Maharaj and she started speaking. What she said, we'll discuss next time. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. This was really very, very instructive. You know what spiritual life actually means. Spiritual life means to be responsible, to be balanced, and but um, definitely it's not an easy task to remain balanced and calm the way Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas were able to remain amongst so many actually unforgiving events which took place in their lives. But one sees that they were able to forgive. Maybe not exactly, I don't know whether to say they forgave or they did not, but they remained calm and balanced in those situations and did the needful. So sometimes, Prabhuji, it's very difficult. It's easier to say that remain calm and be responsible. And um, so, is there some way we can actually apply it in our lives?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. See, when we hear all these stories from scriptures, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, of course, scriptures, they give extreme examples. The examples of Pandavas, what all Pandavas went through, it is unimaginable. Kunti Maharani herself, she is praying Vishan Mahagne Purushad Darshana Asasabhaya Vanvas Krichrata Mridhe Mridhe Nek Maharatha Strato Draunya Strataschas Mahare Bhirakshita. It comes in Bhagavatam. She is recounting what all problems they had to undergo, but still they maintained such implicit faith. We have to understand when scriptures, you take any of the personality from Bhagavatam, such a great devotee who suffered so much. Parikshit Maharaj, such a great devotee, pure devotee, had to die. So when we hear all these stories from scriptures, we should know these are the ideal standards. Ideals have to be the high. Ideal means the highest, you know, nothing less than the highest. We may not be on the level, even we may not even have started on that path, but the highest is shown to us so that we can, just aim for that goal. If our goal is highest, then we will work accordingly. For example, if a student is just satisfied with getting just passing marks, he will work accordingly. But if this student thinks, no, I have to score first class, I want to score above 80%, then he'll work accordingly. So our ideals, our goals are shown so that we know where we have to go. And wherever we are, we have to just start walking towards this path. The ideal highest standard may be impossible to attain, but at least you have to start walking. That is called actually varnashram system. Varnashram means wherever we are, and at whatever pace we can, we have to run towards Krishna. You know, so it depends on how I want to go ahead and how eager I am, and depending on that, we have to just start walking. At least start the process. So when we hear all these stories, we don't have to get depressed thinking, "अरे उधर तक तो कभी पहुंच ही नहीं सकते, impossible है, better give up the whole thing." No, that is not the right way. These stories are there to inspire us, to show us the ideal standards, and then according to our capacity, we have to make a plan ourselves. Nobody is going to make a plan for us. We have to make a plan for ourselves. How do I want to advance in spiritual life? At what pace? At what speed I want to move? That also we will have to decide. Nobody will decide for us. Nobody should decide for us. You know, nobody should say you should practice Krishna consciousness with this speed. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different conditioning, different anarthas, and everybody works at their pace. So therefore, we have to individually take the responsibility of our life, our spiritual life, our material life, and make a plan in such a way that we are at least moving ahead. We should not move back. If the ideals are not shown, we may either go back or we may stop. Ideals are there to inspire us, and we have to use our intelligence to make a plan for our life and work accordingly. There is no loss in this path, however we advance, where little or big, however long we, however much journey we cover, it is the permanent endeavor. नेहा विक्रमनाशोस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. This is a, whatever journey you cover, that is a permanent gain. Even a small endeavor in this path is a permanent account, permanent benefit. So that is how we have to see these things. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there is a question. Is the goal same, but journey is personal? What is common in the journey of all?
Okay. Yeah. So the goal is same, but the speed at which we go to that towards that goal is different. You know, because somebody may be having a very fast moving car, Hennessy Venom GT. That's the fastest car in the world now. It's moving at the speed of 315 kilometers or 400 something per hour, and somebody may be on a bullock cart. you know so both are on the same path. Journey is the same, but the speed at which they are going on that path is different. Goal is also same, the journey, the path is also the same. How do I want to go? Some people will say, okay, I have covered enough of the distance, now let me rest for some time. What is the hurry? Some people, they say, why you're so serious in spiritual life? Relax for some time, then we'll go ahead. Some people say, no, 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 till the time we will not reach our destination, we will not stop. That is also another way of traveling. So different people, according to their nature, they will traverse the same path in different ways. We have to choose, how do I want to progress? And because everybody is not on the same path, we cannot imitate others. We can just get inspiration from others, and decide our journey or our own. There are some basic things which we have to do. Our chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, following principles. Apart from that, whatever we are doing extra in spiritual life, that is up to every individual. Basics will be there for everybody. But apart from that, whatever other things we are doing to move fast, they are like adding an extra, you know, uh, extra fuel which will give the boost to the engine. The basic speed is fixed, chanting 16 rounds and following four regulative principles. Apart from that, whatever else we want to put in our life to move ahead fast, that we have to decide. And that is what is spiritual life, that is what is association all about, to inspire us, to make us understand that okay, you have to try to go a little faster as much as possible, you know. And how do we know we are progressing or not? A few questions we have to ask. Am I still having the desire to get respect, or do I want to give respect to others? At the end of the day, do I want to serve others, or do I want to be served? When we complete our 16 rounds, do I get a desire to chant the 17th round, or do I think okay, now I'm done, aaj ka ho gaya? And of course, when we are with devotees, we have to take constant guidance from the superior Vaishnavas. The superiors, the senior should always be there to assess us, to guide us, so that we can understand. We should keep taking regular feedbacks. We should be genuinely asking for them, because many times in spiritual life, even if you ask, the person understands, so this person is just asking for the sake of asking. They may not give the genuine feedback. We should be genuinely asking for our feedbacks. Am I progressing? Do you think I am? Should I do something else? Am I going okay? So externally, you have to ask some superiors, and internally, we have to contemplate. We have to take an inventory of our thoughts. Am I still attracted to those things which I was getting attracted to in my earlier days of Krishna consciousness? Have my desires gone down for material things? Have I become more attracted and serious in serving Vaishnavas, chanting, reading scriptures? So, all these things are a regular contemplation of a devotee. Whenever we pray, whenever we come in front of the deities and pray, we have to pray sincerely to give us right type of attitude and consciousness. So these are the parameters which can decide whether we are progressing or not.
Prabhuji, very clear parameters you have given for us to understand ourselves. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. This was really, really very, very actually gave a lot of clarity to our personal path also. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Any
Prabhu.
other
Thank you,
question?
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any other
Anybody
questions?
else? Any other question? Thank you
Okay.
very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.